Hello and welcome to the first edition of the Ask a Counselor series. I'm Christine McMinn.
I'm Missy.
And I'm Kelley Navar.
And we are licensed clinical professional counselors at LivingWell Cancer Resource Center. Most of the time when we're not working remotely from home, you can find us in the clinical hallway providing individual counseling services, facilitating support groups, as well as hosting a number of special events and presentations.
We want to thank everybody for sending in so many great questions. We actually got more than we received, so keep them rolling in. We're going to continue to do this. We did receive some specific medical questions. We really do encourage you to reach out to your medical team for those questions. So the best way that you know how, or you have contacted them in the past, so via email, my chart, or calling them on the phone to answer those questions for you.
We also got a few questions about what programs LivingWell is currently running. So hopefully by now you know that counselors are offering telehealth sessions. If that's something you'd like to set up, you can just submit a request to the counseling email. If you were participating in a support group before the shelter in place, be on the lookout for an email from that facilitator because we are starting to trial some of those support groups virtually with our existing participants. As far as the rest of our programming go, your best bet is to follow us on Facebook or make sure you're subscribed to our newsletter because our hope is to continue to expand our program offerings and you'll see updates there as we get to them. We also found almost all of the questions had some element of COVID-related anxiety. So we kind of wanted to start by just generally addressing that. First, I want to just validate that fear. It's a really frightening time. There's so much that's unknown. And I think anytime we're living in uncertainty, we're going to see people's anxiety goes up. I think my first suggestion to you, if you're finding that you're really having a level of anxiety that feels like it's disruptive or impairing your quality of life, whether it's about going to the store or going to the doctor, is to pay attention to how much COVID-related information you're consuming. Whether you're watching the briefings, you're checking the news every night, there's so much on social media, and we know a lot of the information on social media is kind of inflammatory and people have really intense opinions about it. So to give yourself permission to tap out. Right? We know the general guidelines about safety and the precautions that you need to be taking haven't changed. So it's okay to take a social media break. It's okay to not watch the news, to not watch the briefings if you're finding that when you do, your anxiety is heightened. So for those of you who wrote in talking about really heightened COVID-related anxiety, that would be my first step to you.
So
go ahead, Christine.
Sorry. So another question that we got is just about isolation, and Kelley was going to go ahead and address that.
Really, and specifically, one of the questions was related to not being able to see grandkids or other relatives or even just friends. We hear the term, social distancing is all around. We're hearing it nonstop, just like you said, on the news, everywhere. And it's been kind of coming around. We all three have heard this other term around. Instead of really calling it social distancing, we're calling it physical distancing. We really want to encourage people to keep up that social aspect. I get that technology is kind of an imperfect substitute for actually being in person with people and being able to embrace people and talk to them live in person and getting that touch even. But being able to use technology to our advantage and making sure we're staying in social contact with our loved ones and people that are supportive to us.
So another question that we got, a lot of questions that we got actually were about grief. One of the ones that kind of, rolled through first, we're trying to answer all the questions that we get in the order that we get them, is really just related to, what is grief supposed to feel like at various points in time, which I think is a great question. I know that we generally speaking get asked that a lot. And, a lot of times my answer to that is that it's not supposed to feel a certain way. Grief follows its own timeline for you, and that's unique to your loss. I think too, sometimes whether we realize it or not, we set our own ideas and expectations of how we think that we should be feeling. And should is a really dangerous word, especially with grief. A lot of times how we're doing doesn't match whatever that expectation is in our mind or what other people are telling us that we should be feeling. So really coming back to checking in with yourself, seeing how you're doing, Really great author out there, Megan Devine, talks a lot about, especially when grief is early, if you're a little bit further on with it, of asking yourself the question, is there anything that maybe isn't necessarily making it feel better right now, because we know that grief isn't something that can be fixed, but is there anything that isn't making it feel worse right now? Is there anything that's just helping you to feel a moment of calm or a moment of ease amidst a day that's maybe flooded with a lot of other emotions? So that's one helpful coping strategy that I encourage people to come back to, is just asking yourself, no matter where you're at with your grief, is there anything either that's helping or anything that just isn't making it feel harder right now?
Yeah, I love that. We also decided that we wanted to add a segment where we get to ask a counselor a question, and it's my turn today. So Kelley and Christine, my question to you, especially because we know when we're working with clients, we talk to them all the time about a gratitude practice and how powerful gratitude can be. What are you most grateful for right now?
So I think, I don't want to talk over Kelley again, but I think one of the things that I've been grateful for, and I know, I'm guessing a lot of you may be in the same boat, is just this season of spring, noticing, all of the trees that are in bloom, minus the allergies that can come with that. But really just, noticing as I'm taking walks in my neighborhood, trying to do that daily, just noticing different things that are in bloom.
Kelley?
Christine has a very thoughtful response. Mine is going to that I'm grateful for my Instapot.
I need to get one of those. I think my answer is, you can see that I'm wearing them. I have my blue light diffusing glasses, which has really saved me since we're all looking at our screens and our computers so much more while we're working remotely. I think I've also really tried to be intentional and be grateful for moments of quiet, whether it's first thing in the morning. I know Tuesday morning was so beautiful. It didn't last, but it was so beautiful, and trying to just be still and be quiet. There was a night where it was raining really softly, and just trying to give myself permission to be still and be quiet and enjoy that.
So we thank you guys for joining us for this first edition of our Ask the Counselor series. We are looking forward to continuing to converse with you guys in this way. Please, like Kelley mentioned, continue to send us your questions. We're, really enjoying, like I said, just being able to connect with you in this new way. Our email address that you can send those questions to, it's a confidential email, just the three of us have access to it, is counseling@livingwellcrc.org. And Missy, I think you were also going to give a little bit of a homework assignment.
Yes, for those of you who are following this video on Facebook, please utilize the comments below to let us know what you're grateful for right now.
All right,
thank you, everybody. And please reach out to us if there's anything we can do for you, and let us know what you'd like to see us talk about in future segments.
Bye.